What's up, guys? We are back with Monday Night Football action with two games tonight. I'm going to break down the injury report, look at player props, and find the best value on the side and over/under for these games. So let's get into the action. Before we dive in, guys, smash that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that little badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are brought to you by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, college football, NBA, NCAA basketball, NHL, and the UFC. This is one of the best times of the year to sign up. We put a crazy amount of work into our premium content, and getting those picks right now in the heart of the best time of the sports season is a huge win for everyone. Click the link in the description to go over there and sign up for our free email list and also to see our free picks that get posted over there every single day. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We're committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our Monday Night Football game. The first game here between the Chicago Bears, who are going on the road, and this one to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Bears come into this game fresh off a tough 38-13 loss there against the San Francisco 49ers. Things have not went Chicago's way this season at all. Not the year they were hoping for, guys. Matt Eberflus there getting fired. Probably a big step in the right direction. Obviously, that change at offensive coordinator seemed to really help Caleb Williams, but are we super happy with what he did against the 49ers? Probably not. I mean, 2 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. Okay, that's good. But the dude is still getting sacked way too much. Sacked 7 times in that game. Only passed for 134 yards. And on the ground, 4 carries for 27 yards. Like, that is not enough to really offset that. I don't blame him if they don't want the young guy to be running too much here late in the season. I mean, there's no point. They're not going anywhere. They're not making the playoffs, anything like that. So might as well try and keep him as safe as you can. But letting him get sacked 7 times doesn't exactly feel safe to me. Hopefully Chicago can bolster that offensive line here in the offseason because things are looking extremely bleak. It feels like almost every possession the dude's having to run for his life. So we'll see if that situation heads in any sort of positive direction, but I'm not going to be holding my breath. This has been a problem for the Bears all season long. So, I mean, very impressive to see him only fumble the ball away once, to be honest. I mean, getting sacked 7 times, also throwing 0 interceptions. Not a really big day out there for any of the skill players there for Chicago. I mean, DJ Moore caught 6 of 8 targets for 49 yards, like whoopee. Rome Odunze did catch 2 touchdown passes there, but only caught 4 out of 5 targets for 42 yards. So really nobody having a particularly good time there on offense for the Chicago Bears, which were supposed to be a really good offensive team. The over-under for this team win total started off this season, I believe it was at 9 or 8.5 or 9 or something like that. That is a number that's looking very, very bad here. Chicago just not having a very good time out there on offense, and the defense was not much better last week. Brock Purdy passed for 325 yards against them and a couple of touchdowns and was not intercepted a single time. They did pick off Brandon Allen, so I guess there's something to feel good about, but giving up 38 points doesn't look very good. Getting absolutely slammed there by the running game, which is down to like their third string running back now in San Francisco. Yeah, that's not a great look either. No answers for George Kittle or Juwan Jennings. This was just not a very good day for the Chicago Bears defense, which has looked really good at times in the secondary, but over the course of the season, it hasn't been too pretty, guys. I guess technically they're still 10th, giving up 21.4 points per game, but when you look at what they've done against good opponents, it suddenly doesn't look so great. Like holding the Patriots to 19 points, not a great look when you lose that game 19-3. Like it's been very, very bleak. They've now lost 7 straight games. So yeah, the Chicago Bears seem like they're in a little bit of a race to the bottom, and their injury report doesn't look amazing necessarily. The running back group a little bit banged up here. DeAndre Swift questionable with a groin injury. Rashawn Johnson is officially out for this Monday night game, so not going to be full strength there. Ryan Bates being out at center, also a very big deal. This offensive line is already completely terrible, and that is not going to make it any better. Missing those starters is going to make things even worse. On defense, Chicago actually relatively healthy. We've got one guy missing there on the defensive line. Obviously, they've lost some guys for the season like most other teams have by this point in the year, but right now they are relatively healthy there on defense and definitely in a bounce back spot after being, just torn apart there by the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll see what the Bears have, cooked up here. This is going to be their 3rd straight road game, so that's also a little bit tough. Not really super high on the Chicago Bears coming into this game to, go on the road and take on an NFC North opponent in the Minnesota Vikings, who are playing really well now, coming off that 42-21 win there against the Falcons. They've now won, 5 straight games? 6 straight games, actually. Not against the toughest opponents. I would say the best team they beat in there was probably somebody like, the Colts or the Cardinals, maybe, or maybe the Falcons here. I don't know. But it hasn't been a super tough string of games. We'll see what they can do here going up against an NFC North foe, obviously. I mean, in that game against Atlanta, they really, really took it to him, guys. A big day out there for Sam Darnold. 5 touchdown passes. Not something that I had on the bingo card this season, guys. I did not see Sam Darnold going out throwing 5 touchdown passes and nearly 350 yards against anybody, just anybody. That's not something anybody would have seen coming. He was a guy that was kind of expected to struggle, maybe be part of the reason this Vikings team wasn't going to be very good. Well, they're sitting at 11-2 right now, and Sam Darnold looks like a monster. Aaron Jones had a pretty good day against the Falcons. Only 13 carries, so it's not like he had a ton of work out there, but 73 yards and a touchdown on those 13 carries. Very, very good work, and it's not like they really needed to run him into the ground. They were winning this game comfortably pretty much. I mean, maybe not completely the whole way, but they really, really got things out of hand there in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, good stuff there from the Vikings running game. It was working out. Jordan Addison had a big day. So did Justin Jefferson, 133 and 132 yards respectively. Addison had 3 touchdown catches, and Justin Jefferson had 2. So, yeah, just dominant stuff out there from the Vikings on offense. No notes for me on that game. If you can do that, guys, go out there and do it, because holy crap, that was that was a beatdown there. That was quite the beatdown. So on defense, giving up 21 points against the Falcons, not a terrible look. They kept Cousins really, really struggling. He's been having a tough time lately. He 344 passing yards, okay, but picked off twice, sacked once. Not looking very mobile at all, but that's never really been Cousins' MO. It just feels like he's struggling a little bit to push off with his back foot and stuff like that. So, yeah, he had a rough time in that game, thanks in large part to that Vikings defense being very, very good, bringing the pressure. That's kind of their thing. They did struggle a little bit against Robinson in the running game there, giving up a rushing touchdown and 92 yards, so something to work on there. They also had very few answers there for Darnell Mooney or Ray McLeod III. So, definitely guys that we will be talking about in our second game of the night. But yeah, the Vikings defense, maybe, I don't know. It seems a little bit rough to say they're overrated, but I mean, they're giving up 18.5 points per game. They're doing some good things, especially against bad teams, which that's what you expect. Like, that's when you have your great defensive days, when you're going up against, some not so tough opponents. So we'll see what they can do in this one, guys. Looking at their injury report, offensively, they're fully healthy. Very impressive at this point in the season. Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones being fully healthy, Sam Darnold playing well. The offense is 100%. We don't see any of the important pieces marked as questionable. The offensive line is going good. Like, everything basically just humming along exactly how the Vikings would be hoping it would. On defense, Minnesota also has had pretty good luck in terms of their health this season. Stephon Gilmore's hamstring issue, that's the only problem going on here for a starter here on the defense in Week 15. It is pretty impressive to see how healthy they've stayed, honestly. A lot of that has to do with luck. Some of that, I'm sure, has to do with conditioning. But really, guys, you just have to, you keep playing well, you keep playing hard, you put in the work. Like, eventually you, I guess, deserve a season where you just stay healthy, and that's what we're seeing a lot here for the Vikings. So, looking at the weather for this game, obviously it's being played in a dome, so no major considerations. Also, both of these teams, they're obviously in a cold weather city for this one, but both of these teams very, very used to the cold, so no real interesting conclusions we can draw from the weather here. In terms of some trends for this game, we see Chicago. They are 1-4-1 against the spread when playing on the road this season. They are 8-5 to the under. Minnesota 4-2 against the spread at home. They are 8-5 to the under as well. So that's pretty interesting. Both teams showing trends here towards the under with a total of 43.5. I don't know if that's really a big enough number you can convince me that I want to be on the under in this game, but maybe you could. Honestly, guys, I'm going to be staying away from the over-under. If you force me to bet it, I'm probably just going to bet the over because I'm sick of losing these under plays, and I'd rather just, be on the over. But in general in this game, we've got some other interesting stuff to look at, guys. The Bears are 0-4 straight up on the road and have dropped 7 straight games. Caleb Williams, not nearly as good on the road as he is at home, and not like he's been amazing this season in general. Minnesota gave up a big lead to let the game go to overtime the last time these two teams met, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Sam Darnold's coming off of an insanely good game. I'm not going to hold that against him, guys. I think this is a very good spot here for the Minnesota Vikings. Some -6.5s have popped up out there. Some money coming in on the Chicago Bears. I think that's a little bit of a gift for us, guys. This Chicago team, flat out not good. They're not going to be able to protect Caleb Williams at all. I think he's in for a very, very rough day out there. He's going to be sacked, 6, 7, 8 times maybe. Who knows? It's going to be pretty rough out there, and I don't think he's going to get anything going on offense. This Vikings offense is going to score against the Bears. I don't think that'll be a problem, so go ahead and and give me the Minnesota Vikings here at -6.5. Now, guys, let's hop over and look at some player props for this game. First up, I think DJ Moore here over 59.5 receiving yards at -110 is pretty reasonable. I think the Bears are going to have to be throwing the ball in this game. I think they're going to be trailing pretty much the whole way. He's been over that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He had 106 yards the last time he played against the Vikings, so clearly he's capable of finding success in this matchup. So go ahead and give me DJ Moore to have a decent day out there. I also like Addison here over 59.5 receiving yards at +105. That's a very reasonable price, and he's been over that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. He crushed that number in 2 out of the last 3 weeks, so definitely expecting him to get plenty of targets, plenty of work in this one, and getting over 60 receiving yards isn't really all that tough. I also, guys, I like Aaron Jones here under 14.5 receiving yards at +110. He's been under that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. The Vikings don't need to be exposing him to any sort of injury. They're catching balls out of the backfield. I don't think they're going to be too worried about that. I think they'll let him get some rushes in there. I think they're going to get an early, lead and comfortable lead in this game, and I don't think they'll have to go to him too much. This Vikings team, I don't want to say that it's time for them to pack it in, but I think this will be an easy win for them, and I don't think they need to be, putting Aaron Jones there at risk. Another under I like here is a Dunze, guys. I like him under 44.5 receiving yards at -130. He's been under that number in 4 out of his last 5 games. I don't care about the targeted amount. That hasn't mattered. No matter how many targets he gets, he just doesn't end up with a ton of yards, and I don't think that changes in this one. I think we see him have a kind of a bad time out there. -130, obviously not a great price, but I do think this is a very, very good spot. I also like Sam Darnold here to continue to play well, guys. He's been doing that pretty much all season long. There have been some hiccups in there, don't get me wrong. There's been some mistakes, some mediocre games, but I like him here over 249.5 passing yards at -120. He had 330 passing yards the last time against the Chicago Bears. I think they would rather just, throw the ball, air the ball out a little bit, get it out to their amazing wide receivers, get it to Justin Jefferson and company, and just let them take care of it. So I do like Darnold here to have a pretty good day. Getting to 250 passing yards, not too tough for him this season. He's had a lot of big games, and I think this could definitely be another one. And last but not least here, guys, I like Aaron Jones over 59.5 rushing yards at -145. He had 106 yards against the Bears the last time he faced them. I think he would probably need somewhere around 12 to 15 rushing attempts at the most to get to this number, and I don't think they're going to shut him down with less rushing attempts than that. So I think him getting to 60 rushing yards in this game, -145, obviously not our favorite price, but I think he gets there the vast majority of the time. Minnesota's not going to completely abandon the running game. I think they'd way rather just hand it off to him and let him run it than have him catching balls out of the backfield here. So definitely like Aaron Jones here to do a lot better job on the ground than he's going to do through the air. Now, guys, let's go ahead and hop over. We're going to be looking at the second game of the night. We've got the Atlanta Falcons here. They're going on the road to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. A battle between two teams definitely not having the seasons they imagined. I mean, I don't think the Raiders are too shocked, but I do think there is reason for surprise, reason for concern here for the Atlanta Falcons. They have to be a little bit disappointed to see, now they're still behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That wasn't the plan. This is supposed to be, a pretty weak NFC South that the Falcons would be able to easily take advantage of with Kirk Cousins now under center, but that has not been the case, guys. They've lost 4 straight games coming into this one, and last week got absolutely demolished there by the Vikings. Not a good look. Kirk Cousins continues to just be an interception machine. This has to change at some point. The guy has too good of a track record for too long to be this bad. It just does not make any sense. He passed for 344 yards in the game, but sacked once, intercepted twice, and 0 passing touchdowns. So, yeah, it has to be very, very frustrating for the Falcons. They were just down too big there in the fourth quarter. The running game did look really good. Their defense wasn't good enough to stop the Vikings. I mean, Robinson, a big game, 22 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown for him. Algier, 9 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown for him as well. So, very, very good stuff there in the running game. The pass blocking pretty good there for Atlanta, and the run blocking looking pretty good as well. So I'm expecting good things from this offense, generally speaking. Putting up 21 points against the Vikings is fine. I'm not going to say it's amazing, but the defense really had a rough day, guys. I mean, in terms of the receiving group, they played really well. Mooney, a good game, caught 6 out of 7 targets for 142 yards. He had a 50-yard grab in there. Ray McLeod, he caught 8 out of 11 targets for 98 yards. Neither one of those guys, no passing touchdowns there for Kirk Cousins, no receiving touchdowns there for them. So, yeah, rough stuff there, but, yeah, the offense in general played well. The problem was Kirk Cousins, and can that really continue to be the issue? Like, can he continue to be the thing that's holding the Falcons back? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. A lot of things the Falcons did in the offseason didn't make sense, don't get me wrong, but, man, I did not have Kirk Cousins here having a big mid-season fall off. That was not something that I saw coming. So we'll see if he can bounce back here. Obviously, in a very, very big bounce back spot. And this Falcons offense over the course of the season, I'm not going to say it's came in way under expectation, but at least a little bit. Only averaging 21.4 points per game. Like that is not necessarily what I thought this would be. What would be happening this year. So we'll see what the Falcons can do on offense. On defense, obviously they had a terrible, terrible day last time out. I mean, getting shredded, giving it 42 points. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass. They couldn't force any turnovers. Like they had 4 sacks. That was really the only positive, guys. And we expected the Falcons defense to be quite a bit better this year. I mean, they're 25th in the NFL, giving up 25.6 points per game. Like, how are they so bad, guys? I mean, they started off the season okay, giving up 18 points to the Steelers, 21 points to the Eagles, holding the Chiefs to 22 points, but things have it's come off the rails a little bit. They got shredded by the Buccaneers, giving up 30. It wasn't a win, giving up 26 to the Buccaneers, giving up 20 to the Panthers. Like they just haven't been a very good defense, especially here down the stretch, giving up 42 points to the Vikings, 38 points to the Broncos. Like this defense has an awful lot to work on, guys, an awful lot to work on. So we'll see if they can bounce back in this one. They've got a pretty good, pretty easy opponent there on deck. In terms of the injury report, the Falcons are looking very, very healthy out there on offense. That's pretty impressive. Not something you see all the time. Health has not been the problem. The issue has been Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to the opposite team. On defense, things are also looking very, very good. The squad has lost a few guys over the course of the year, but they're looking very healthy right now coming into this game on both sides of the ball with really no important pieces looking like they're going to be out. So, yeah, feeling pretty good about the health of Atlanta overall, which is a big, big deal at this point in the season. You don't always get that, and we'll see what they can do going up against an opponent that hasn't had that happening at all this season. Health has been a big problem for the Oakland Raiders, who are 2-11 on the year. They come into this game off of a 28-13 loss there at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and yeah, just not a lot of good news here for the Oakland Raiders, guys. It's not been smooth sailing at all. We saw Aiden O'Connell have a pretty mediocre day last week. We're gonna have Desmond Ridder starting this game, and he actually came in and did some good stuff against Tampa Bay. He was 12 of 18 passing, 101 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, sacked 1 time. He didn't do too much there in the running game, 2 attempts for 3 yards. Are they going to let him run the ball a lot? I kind of tend to doubt it. I would assume they want to see him stay there in the pocket, throw the ball out of the pocket, and see what he can do. Like, see if this is a guy they really want to, be including in their long-term plans, because that is certainly not a guarantee. He has not met with a ton of success this season. Obviously, O'Connell dealing with a knee injury, and what you got there. He is not going to be the savior of this franchise. So we'll see what Ridder can do. I don't really have too much stock there on Desmond Ridder Island. I don't expect huge things from him. He's not had a good career so far, and I mean, it hasn't been a long career, so we could still be wrong about him, but I am going to I'm going to need to see it before I believe it. So in terms of the quarterback situation, not looking great there for the Raiders. We see, Sincere McCormick, 15 carries for 78 yards last week. Very good stuff. Can we expect him to do that again this week? Seems a bit questionable to me. I don't know how good of a time the Raiders are going to have running the ball here against the Falcons, but I think they'll at least try a little bit. But I do think the main thing they want to see is, Desmond Ridder throw the ball. So maybe going to get a little bit more work here for the wide receiver group, who's coming off a mediocre to maybe slightly decent day against Tampa Bay. I mean, Michael Mayer, 7 receptions on 9 targets for 68 yards. Jacoby Myers, 7 receptions on 10 targets for 67 yards. Like, no crazy numbers. This is not a particularly, highly skilled, group of skilled players here. Like, not a lot of great options there in the running game. Not a lot of great receiving options either. This team has kind of bottoming out, and they're still in the top spot. Like, they have the best chance to end up with the number 1 pick. So that's something we'll discuss a little bit more later. But the Raiders doing a good job here of kind of tanking out the end of the season. Obviously, their defense didn't look great last week. They did have a couple of interceptions and 4 sacks there against Baker Mayfield, but they could not stop the Buccaneers running game whatsoever, giving up 90 yards to Rachaad White, 47 yards on 3 carries to Sean Tucker. Like, just pretty weak stuff there from the Raiders on defense, and things are not getting much better for them in this game, guys, because the health of that defense is going to be a problem. And when you're already a defense that's near the very bottom of the league, 30th in the NFL, giving up 27.8 points per game, not having your guys out there is going to make things even worse. The headliner here is Crosby. He needs ankle surgery. He is done for the season, and in general, it's just not getting better. Obviously, you're switching things up at starting quarterback, theoretically due to an injury, but other than that, the offense does look healthy, but the defense not looking good. Crosby out for the season with that ankle surgery. surgery. They've lost a lot of guys over the course of the season. They're very much not at full strength. We see Adam Butler. He's questionable for this game, and just overall, guys, this is a bad defense. There's not a lot of ways around that. This defense, just not good, giving up tons of points. It doesn't matter who they're going against. I mean, when was the last time the Raiders had a good day there defensively? I mean, holding the Chiefs to 19 points, not honestly an amazing performance. Yeah, just no good performances. You can go all the way back. Like, just not a good defensive team. So we'll see what they can do in this one, guys. Looking at the weather report, nearly 60, no winds, and we're here in a dome in Las Vegas. Neither one of these are cold weather teams. So yeah, they're going to be fine. No weather concerns for either one of these Monday night games today. In terms of some trends for this game, we see the Falcons, they're 3-3 against the spread on the road. They're 8-5 to the under. Las Vegas, 2-3 against the spread at home. They are 8-5 this season to the over. So with an over-under here of 44.5, I don't really have too much interest, guys. I would maybe shade slightly towards the over just because I don't think either defense is very good. But with Desmond Ridder out there, I'm not expecting big things from this Raiders on offense. The Raiders, they're currently in position to have the #1 pick. Big incentive for them to continue losing games. Like, you win games, you hurt the franchise. I know that doesn't matter to the individual players, but I have to imagine that ownership and the coaching staff are very much plugged into that situation. The Falcons are only 5-8 against the spread this season. That's obviously not great, but the Raiders, not a great against the spread team at home. Cousins, he's finally fully healthy. I guess, does he return to normal here? I'm not 100% sure, guys, but this does seem like the perfect get-right spot for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. They're certainly not out of things there. I mean, obviously they are behind the Buccaneers there, but they still very much are alive there in the NFC South race. So I expect them to be highly motivated for this game. I think they're going to come out, use this as a big get-right spot. I think the Falcons win this game easily by a touchdown. Maybe this is a little bit of bait here. Maybe we see, the Raiders play a little bit better, but they're really not incentivized to play well right now. And I know that maybe doesn't matter, like you'll say in the comments, probably to the individual players, but I think they're tanking it out here. I don't think they have a very good team. I think Desmond Ridder is terrible. Go ahead and give me the Atlanta Falcons and Kirk Cousins to finally have a bounce back here and get a nice win by at least a touchdown. Now that we've gone through the side and the over-under, guys, let's jump into some player props for this one. First up, I like Ray McCloud here over 39.5 receiving yards at -115. He had 90-plus yards the last 2 weeks and over 40 for 3 weeks in a row. So getting to 40 this week doesn't seem too tough at all. Seems like something of a foregone conclusion. This is a very good play with a very good chance to end up in the pinned comment. I also like Drake London here, over 69.5 receiving yards at even odds. He's been over that number in 3 out of the last 4 weeks. Like I said, I'm expecting this to be something of a get-right spot here for this offense. So yeah, good things coming for these two guys. They're going to get plenty of targets, and I think they both end up with a pretty good time out there. On the Atlanta side, a kicking prop that I think is very, very reasonable, guys. I like Koo here, over 2.5 extra points made at even odds. I think this will be a big night here for Atlanta on offense. I think they score at least 3 touchdowns, and I don't see him missing any extra points here, kicking in, ideal environment. So yeah, I like over 2.5 extra points made here at even odds. I think it's a very, very good spot. I also like, Drake London here to score a touchdown in this game. You guys love those touchdown props. We're working a couple of them in here. London to score a touchdown at +115, maybe not the best price out there, but I think he's in for a big day, and getting into the end zone should be part of that. I also like Bowers here, guys, for a touchdown at +175. Seems like him and Ridder have a decent connection, and they want to make Ridder stay in the pocket and throw it to see, what he's got out there. So if we're going to pick a Raiders player to score a touchdown in this one, I like Bowers a good amount. And at +175, you're getting almost 2-1 here. Seems like a reasonable spot to me. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.